Hello, BookTube. I'm hoping we're live yet. My tablet is always slow. So now it says live. Hello, everybody, or anybody that's here. I just thought I'd get on and do a live, and Aaron Hook has decided to join me. And I was thinking getting Mark back on, but he's too busy to do something like as silly as this alive. No, I think he is busy this evening again, so it's just sort of bad timing for that. But it's saying that we have one viewer. So, Jenny,
Hello,
let me put this up. Come on. Will it go up?
It's gone, yeah.
I can't see it yet.
Oh, yeah, it has come up. I can see it on here.
Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, it's been a long time. Yeah, I've done a few lives, and I'm going to try to do a bit more in the way of videos as well, because I've been tagged in a number of tags, and there's a couple of videos that I've sort of been, or ideas for videos that have been floating around in my head for the last couple months. But I don't know, Jenny, you saw the good news that I sort of have, because I think it's good news, because I have a place as of November 1st, a house up in the Northeast, just north of Whitby, actually. And I'll be moving, probably the big move, as I'm calling it, will probably happen around the 9th or 10th. There'll be 2 trips, so it'll be over 4 or 5 days. And I'm just sort of getting everything sorted, like utilities, water. So all that's fun to deal with these places. So I got a few stories with that.
Hello? James.
Hi, James. Yeah, it just takes so long for me. Like I still seeing Jenny's up there. Oh, there, finally, James. It's so slow, this thing. So hi, James. Thanks for stopping by. And we have another Aaron. So let's see if we can get Aaron Facer for the triumvirate. So what have you been doing, Aaron? Aaron Hook, I guess. Well, anybody else? What have you been doing as well?
Well, I've got to say, after I came back from Bedford, I found I wasn't able to read a lot of books for about 2 weeks. But then I started, then about 2 weeks ago, beginning of this month, I started, and I've got through. In fact, I can show you the ones I've read.
Yeah.
I finally got around to finishing that, which I was reading when I came down here. I still couldn't get through it for some reason, but I was able to finish that. Then I read that, which is the sequel.
Okay, yeah. Same artwork, you can tell.
Yeah. Then being October, I read a couple of M.R. James short stories.
Yeah.
This has got everything except. Actually, I can tell you what it's not green. It's got. Let's see. Everything except the experiment, the malice of inanimate objects, and a vignette. So, I've been reading 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah, I've packed mine all away, so I couldn't read any this time.
Then I bought this back in July, I think, and I was able to read a couple of stories in it. It's you can see that.
When tigers are hunting. Okay, don't know that.
It's from
Argosy. Oh, okay.
One of those, and I've enjoyed them. That's quite good. Mostly it's set in.
Is it a collection of stories, or is it a serial?
By the look of it, it said it was serialized, but they does seem to be short stories rather than a story, one continuous one.
Okay.
But they're quite good. Mainly they're set in China and Malaya, and so it's enjoyable. And then I read. Then for some reason, I just decided to reread this, which, if you can see that.
A reflection on the revolution. Yeah, that's a little heavier than the others.
Yeah. I read that every so often because I do like it. Actually, like reading that, I was finding out that there was a TV series, documentary series done on Channel 4 back at the beginning of about 20 years ago about the French Revolution. And I watched it, enjoyed it, and then for years afterwards, I've been trying to find it. And after reading Burke, because in the miniseries, it's a documentary series, but they have actors dressed up in costumes reading the words of historical figures. And Burke is played by John Sessions.
Oh,
It's called Well. Actually, I'll find it because I watched World in.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that one. While you're doing that, Jenny, I'll just catch up on a couple comments. Yeah, you saw the video, yeah, and thanks. Yeah, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, I just that's the one thing I'm still sort of needing the cash for the big move. So I'm that's the other thing. So it's always been open, my GoFundMe, but it's sort of I need that to get everything sorted for the big move, as I'm saying, because and I'm not going with movers because that's I think $5,500 at least, and it's like it's so much easier to do that, but in stress and everything, but the stress of trying to and even parting with that much money would be very difficult.
Yeah,
Sorry about the series.
Oh yeah, it's called A World in Arms. It's actually on YouTube. It's three episodes.
Oh,
I don't know if it's ever broadcast outside the UK. It's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's taken me pretty much, let's say, 20 years to try and find it again after watching it on Channel 4 when I was about, would have been 10 or 11.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'd seen it. James Holder saying he's switching his history in Magna Walls again. Well, do you have more history or Magna? Every time I see your video, James, videos, there's like these, like outside of the video thing of the length of Magna, and well, it's not even. I'm not even pronouncing it correctly, probably. But there's like hundreds and hundreds of volumes in some of these series, and it's like that's just insane.
Oh, yeah, and some of them are still going. I think.
Yeah.
One Piece is not finished. I don't think, but but it's still going.
Jenny says she hasn't read much, but I've binge watched One Place and Alice in Borderland. I don't know that one repeatedly. Then I decided to start the manga. That's it. That's the pronunciation. My first one. Yeah. Well, yeah. Definitely. James is place to go. Like I see the links to those things. It just, I don't know. It just, I don't think I want to get into those things. And I haven't watched too much lately either because I've given up the subscription earlier in the month for Prime, and then I had Paramount for a little bit. The only thing I think I could still get is something called like I thought I had to have Prime and then this other thing called Freevee that actually has commercials. But I've been told that I can download the app and actually watch it on there. So I might do that eventually because I know it's a sequel series, but it's the second season. It was a LA police called Bosch. I think is it Joseph Conley? And I got kind of caught up in it, and I thought it was pretty good. And this is the sequel series to it, where his daughter is a police officer. And so if I can watch the second season, I probably will.
Oh.
And Zap is here. Hello. And Jenny is, I guess that's I'm not sure exactly. I'm not up on those things, but I think that's what it is. So is that everything that you've read so far or reading?
Well, I've read. Oh, I'm going to keep going through the M.R. James short stories, but actually, I'm now tonight after this. I'm actually going to start on the books that I bought when I was in Bedford, and I'm going to start with.
Carpathian Castle. Yeah. James saying he's never done a full counting yet, but history takes up more space. Okay, that makes sense. I've been wanting to give Alice in Borderland a try. I'll have to look that up to see what it is. Is it Australian? Like, I just, by the name, it's making me think Australian, but I've actually been reading, and I think I mentioned that before. I don't have the William Gibson to hand here. I don't. The Peripheral, but I finished that, and then I read the first two books of the Hyperion Cantos. This is the Hyperion Omnibus. They're more or less one book anyway, but split up into two. So I've always wanted to get the omnibus of this, and I saw this cheap, and I didn't have this to hand. I packed it away. I had the other two books, but I figured, okay, well, I want to reread these. So I did that, and then I went on to read the third book, Endymion, and just finished this sort of, I think, late Monday night, I think I finished it. And I found out, I think, on Tuesday that I've got the place. Yeah. So because I was going to start reading Rise of Endymion, which is, in this edition, 800 pages. So that's on hold, and I'm not sure. I'll probably start this in the next day or two because I think I'm caught up with everything. But I also have some short stories stuff that haven't been packed. Well, they were actually packed here, but I opened up a box, and I've got some C.L. Moore, C.L. Moore short stories in the. These are the SF Golden Age Masterworks, like the SF Masterworks. I think I've got a third or a fourth volume of hers in this, I think, but I'm not sure. Everything's sort of all spread up. And then, I'll, like, if I can get Rise of Endymion done, and then the sequel short story, which is in this crappy thing. This was, I've sort of rescued this off the pile that was going to go to charity because it's the British edition and the pages are all yellowed. I want to get the American edition at some point, but it's a collection, like an anthology of new stories of science fiction series. So Dan Simmons has done a sequel that's about 500 years after the end of Rise of Endymion. And then there's other ones like Forever War, Joe Haldeman, Ursula K. Le Guin, the Ender series by Ursula Scott Card, and David Brin has a story for the Uplift series, and Robert Silverberg, Roma Eterna, and the Hyperion Cantos, The Sleepless by Nancy Kress. I don't think I've read that series. And Frederick Pohl has another story in his Heechee. And then the Galactic Center series by Gregory Benford and The Ship Who Sang by Anne McCafferty. I'm not sure if I don't know how many volumes are in that. And then the Greg Bear, The Way series. But a lot of people don't seem to know about these because every time when people talk about these series, or at least the ones that I'm familiar with, they never mention that there's this extra story that was written. I don't know if anybody knows about it, basically. So there it is. There's 11 series, big science fiction series that have a continuation of a story. Let's get this. There he is. There, he's slumming now. You're so important. You have so many important things to do that you can't come on live. Oh, jeez. How you doing, Mark? Geo Craftsman, Northwest Smith had a crossover with Jory. Oh, okay. And Jory, yeah. Oh, that's one of the volumes in this. Yes, that is one of the volumes that. So I think there are 4 that they put out in this. Which, but yeah, I haven't read the. I don't know if I've read all the. I think it's Jory, the pronunciation. Stories. I don't think I've read them all, so I will at some point. But I pulled those out because Matt at Science Fiction reads. He's been reading Lee Brackett, and then he started reading some C.L. Moore, and he really liked it. And I thought, I think I still have some of. And I thought, while I'm moving and stuff like that, short stories might be a good thing because then I can dip in and dip out. And that's why I'm a little concerned about getting into Fall of Endymion, but it's I'm not reading I'm reading okay, but I don't have as many hours per day to read, so it's a little difficult. Jenny says, that series of Japanese, often compared to Squid Games. I don't know, not heard of that. Personally, I prefer Alice. It was fun trying to figure out who was their Alice in Wonderland. Is that what? Oh, okay. Is that what it's about? Okay. Golam Muad'Dib, and thank you. And I don't know if you saw my video with that I got some new books, and I've been sent the box set of the Dune. The new Dune ones. That was nice. There's a bit of damage on them, but I'm still happy to have them. They're beautiful looking. There's no way I'd pay the price for those because they're not pretty. Oh, I think actually you did see it properly because I remember speaking to you now. Something about it. Mark says he's pretty busy and forgot the Rugger is on. Rugger? What?
Rugby.
Oh, okay. Who cares about that? So yeah, and Aaron, you'll be coming back down here in a week, I guess, to help me move the rest of the stuff because it's been of a like I've been trying to figure out if there is any way of not moving it into storage, but it's not going to happen because like a 7.5 ton truck is just too big to be parked in front of my place. And there's so much, there's so many trips down. So hopefully before that happens on the 30th, I'm still waiting to find out whether it's the 30th or 31st. Yeah. Hopefully we can get some of the stuff down. So that makes it a lot easier just to go out the door. But yeah.
Probably thinking from last time, it's probably going to take more time packing it into the van than it is to get it to the storage place. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, there'll be several trips because I'm still like, I have those 2 corner cabinets and I'm debating because the one is nice because it's solid wood. I think it could even be oak and it's so tall and it's like, it's plain looking, but it's nice solid wood. And it's like, I think I'll probably wind up taking it and I'll figure out somewhere to put it, if we can get it out. The other one it's nice looking, but it's just so flimsy. It's not very good. But yeah. No, does anybody want to hear about my trials and tribulations of getting they're not that bad of getting utilities connected, gas, water, and so forth. The gas was the best. I set up a thing that I won't be in there till the middle of the month, and they're fine with that. So I set up an online account. I do that, and then I wanted to check something. I went on it this afternoon, and it says that I'm trying to create an account, which is Northumbrian, I think, water, that I should be actually on Essex and Suffolk Waters website to do this. And I'm going, what? Because I was on the Northumbrian. So I call up and they're saying, oh, I must be doing something wrong. It's usually, they always say it's user error. And I've always had this problem. There's things that happen with computers and stuff like that are out of my hands that always happens. Passwords is one big thing wherever I worked. I'll get to that in a minute. And then finally he decides to call or speak to their techie department. The computer decided to set me up on the southern site rather than the northern one on its own. Okay? I didn't do this. Well, they're saying nobody else. Well, that nobody else could have done this because I had already created the thing on the Northumbrian website, but then it decided to move it to the other one. And like I say, I've had this problem. It's like where I've worked, problems with passwords. Excuse me, I still got this bloody cough. Password decides to stop working. So they give me a new password, and it doesn't work. So they keep saying it's user error. And they're doing this. So anytime this happens, I said, okay, you pick a password, you change it to some, you come to my terminal, and you enter it, but don't tell me the password. And they go, oh, yeah, well, we'll show you how it's user error for you. Not working. He does it again. It doesn't work. It's been happening since computers began with me. But yeah. And the strange thing is, I can get water connected and electricity and gas. That's all sort of set up very easily. Without any, looking into other things. I call Virgin Media to get internet. They've got to do credit check before they do it. How can you get gas and electricity? Like, what are you going to do with the internet? Strangle somebody with the cable? But with gas and electricity, you can do a lot of stuff. Gola Mendia says that. I'm not sure, but it's probably just going by your phone or tablet location. Well, that's what I thought. That's what I actually thought. But they said no, that their computer actually set it up on the other web. It moved all my details. And they're saying they don't know how that happened. So they've corrected it, or at least this time. So I have to check tomorrow and see if it's still the same. It's ridiculous. But I hope there's no surprises with this place, because all I've gone by to rent this is photos.
Yeah.
My friend hasn't been able to get in because when she did go there, I think because there were so many reasons why things fell through, but I think it was this one that everybody had COVID, and so they canceled the appointment, but they canceled it without telling us.
All right.
But she has seen a house in the same area, a few streets over.
Yeah.
So I'm, and I think they're all the same configuration. So the good thing is that there's a good and a bad thing, and they're both the same situation. The bad thing is that in this place, where the kitchen is in the other house, it's a bathroom. It's a downstairs bathroom. Mm. So in the dining room is the kitchen of the other house.
Yeah.
But that's also a good thing with the bathroom downstairs, because there's a toilet and a sink upstairs.
Oh, okay.
So those are good things. So I don't need to keep going up and down the stairs,
Yeah.
Or need adult diapers or something like that eventually. But I definitely like those. I like the idea of that, but it's also gives me less space now downstairs. So, but hopefully there's enough space. There's supposed to be a kitchen dining, so hopefully there's still enough space there for some extras. Yeah, Goleman D. Yeah, that's I remember us talking about that. Yeah, you got them separately. Yeah, the box is nice, but again, pricey. So I don't know. What's the weather been up there, Aaron? Because it's just been pissing down rain here for days.
Same, just rain. Apparently, it's meant to clear up tomorrow, but I doubt it.
Yeah, because I think it was the other day I was talking to Aaron Facer and where he is too, and so that's southwest, I think, of here, isn't it, or south anyway, or is it no, or is it south?
Isn't he in Wales?
Yeah. So I'm not sure whether it's across or a bit south.
To be moderate. As with Scotland, it seems to always rain in Wales, so I'm not that surprised.
But yeah, so it was raining there too. Mark says he's just surprised they have indoor plumbing north of Watford. Okay, Jenny, it's time to make to say something.
Yeah, we just got toilet paper. We've only just recently stopped using newspaper. Gutted to squares.
Well, I grew up using newspapers. Good. The one thing that's bad are like Sears catalogs, with folded and split paper. They're not the best, I can tell you that. But newspaper will work okay, But yeah, and yeah, well, I grew up without indoor plumbing, so yeah. Well, I'll read it out. Geo Craftsman asks, you remember me enjoying the Dr. Fu Manchu? Are you familiar with the Dr. Nicola books by Guy Boothby? Yes, I am. I haven't read everything of those, and I've not read all the Dr. Fu Manchu. I can't remember enough of the Dr. Nicola to sort of compare the two in my mind at the moment, to say I like one or the other. I would have to. There's a lot of Guy Boothby I do want to look at. He's done a lot of stuff like other horror type stuff as well. That's interesting. A really good mummy story. I don't know if it's going to come up. Goleman Maudib says he saw the Folio Society edition of Dune Messiah just came out. Yeah. And thankfully they got a different illustrator for the pictures, because I think the Dune one are horrible, and that's the one thing that's always kept me from wanting to buy it because of the price. But they've also come out as well with a really nice edition of Frankenstein.
Mm.
And it's the same illustrator for Dracula. I think it is. And they look good. The illustrations look good for that.
Yeah.
I suppose if I could ever get a copy of the Dune, and I don't even like the picture on the cover as well. Like, it's just everything about the Dune. It just didn't like it aesthetically. but it's going to be the only one to get that's well made.
Yeah. Chris, with the
I don't know. Sorry.
Oh no, go on. I'll...
I think Golem on Deeb would be the only one to sort of know this. Maybe have you seen? I've never seen a Centipede Press book, and I know they did it, and they had some really good illustrations. I think, if I remember right, but I don't know what quality there are. You're paying enough for them, so that should be really high quality books. But I've never seen.
Yeah, I've got to say, with the Photo Society, the only Photo Society editions I've ever wanted to get is that they've recently been bringing out the original James Bond books with illustrations, and they look really good. So if I
those are nice.
Them, I'd get them.
Old copy. Oh, that would be a shame to use that, because I'd love to get like 30s and 40s or the early Radio Times, and I bet they were used for that. I bet they were used for a bump, I guess it was, or a bump, or whatever it was called. But yeah, that would have been a shame,
Yeah, it'd have to be the older copies rather than the new ones, which are very they're like the Sears catalogue.
Yeah, it did happen. It did happen. And yeah, the Sears catalog, the heavier paper is worse. But what you do is you crunch it up and you make it. You try to make it as soft as possible, so that doesn't happen. Because if you crunch paper up enough, it will sort of get a little softer. At least newsprint does. Tricks of the trade. I don't remember. Sorry. Yeah, you got the Delphi edition. Yeah. So yeah, the Nicola book should be in there then. I probably have that too. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, you don't have the Centipede Press one. I actually haven't. I should look it up because I'm curious to see. I remember seeing a few illustrations and thought they were good. But there's just the price is just so expensive. The only other one is the Easton Press one, but that's really expensive as well. I don't know what the illustrations are like in that for Dune, but the illustrations for their Hyperion is abominable. It is they're atrocious, and they should. They're just horrid. Yeah, rice paper would be probably a couple layers might work. I said a couple layers might work.
You have to be careful that your finger didn't go through.
Yeah. I had to do that once when I ran out of toilet paper. Yeah.
Oh, and this is my sister, by the way, for anybody.
Oh, okay.
She's clearly washing downstairs.
Well, thanks for joining us. Yeah, it was. I think the Centipede Press edition was sold out before it was even released. Most of their limited editions, I think most of their stuff is limited edition. If it's a hot property, then it'll be sold out before it even gets released. And I think, what was it? It was something like either $400 or $800 US. I think it was. It was some phenomenal price. Yes, Spaminator, welcome. No, I've only seen photos. On Thursday, my friend will actually get the first viewing of it because there's a few things I need because to move stuff in, I want a good picture and a measurement of the lip of going in, from the sidewalk, so I can get a ramp. so that'll make things easier for the dollies.
Yeah.
So I need that, and just out of curiosity, I want to find out what the kitchen like. It doesn't show the area where there's supposed to be a dining area, so I'm hoping there's enough area for my table, and hopefully 2 walls that I can put some books on.
Yeah.
And then that'll be fine. That'll be fine. And then find out, because there's no refrigerator in the photos, and the agency doesn't know if a fridge comes with the rental. Oh well. What's that song? Oh, okay. I don't remember anything about that. I know that there's in the Hyperion one. There's just atrocious artwork. But yeah, the Easton Press is kind of nice, but it's almost too far for me. Like, I like Easton Press stuff, but for something like Dune and that kind of stuff, it doesn't quite work for me. I don't know why. It works better for old classics, like, leather bound and that type of thing. Well, all I want is these things in really good, solid, well-made books, like these new ones that they're calling the deluxe edition. They are just poorly made. Like, it's just, you can feel it. Like, apparently it does last reading, because Brandy at the Book Collecting read her edition of it, and I was worried that because like with the blue, is it blue staining or purple staining around the page edges? I like that in old books and old paperbacks, because it doesn't. When you read some of the stuff, you get ink on your fingers, and you get a sort of a grayish bit sometimes on the front page edge, and you don't get that. But with some new staining ones, I've noticed that it comes off. But she said it didn't, so that's a plus. But yeah, it's just poorly made. Like, the jacket, like, they look, I have no qualms about how they look. They're beautiful. But I just wish they were more solidly made, and especially for the price, like they're like with the box set, they're £50 each, basically, the full price. Or $50 each. That's pricey. That's pricey.
Yeah.
I haven't actually watched anything spooky. I don't think so. There was something that was on Prime before a movie came up called Winchester with Helen Mirren, and it's supposed to be about ghosts. But then when I read the synopsis, I had to roll my eyes. It's because she's being haunted by those people who have been killed by the Winchester rifle.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I just left it, so I can't see it now.
I've not watched anything really. I'm gonna think about watching. There's a film called Monsters of California, which is meant to be good, so I'm gonna have a look at that eventually. But nothing else really.
Yeah, because I don't unless I see something. Like, I usually watch the usual things from me. Like, the original Dracula. Well, when I say original, but the 1930s Universal Dracula. But all that's packed away. All my Blu-rays are packed away, so I won't be doing any of that. Jenny says, heard that a lot of the book box subscription special editions have really gone downhill in quality, which makes you wonder where the money is actually. Yeah, you do. It's because they're farming this stuff out. I bet they're printed in China where they're not paying much at all for anything. And the strange thing is that another friend sent me a book that she bought for her a birthday. Well, it was basically a birthday present of the Jungle Books, and it's a cheaper edition, nice printing. It's sort of off-white paper, sort of like almost a yellowed or cream-colored paper, but it has tipped-in pictures. And a couple of them, or at least one, is a pop-up picture, but that's tipped in. And it's sewn, and it's got headbands on it. And this is a cheap edition.
Yeah.
And they can do that and make it, like, I don't know what the quality of the paper is like, but it's sewn binding, and they got tipped in pictures for a cheap edition. And this is high, this is a trade edition of thinking about the Dune ones. And they're just perfect bound, which will fall or can fall apart.
Yeah.
No, I don't. You might want to check out Book Time with Ryan. He might have a nice edition of it. I don't know. I suppose I don't. Folio Society must have done Moby Dick. I've never seen it. I know Easton Press and Franklin Library have, but I'm not sure. Is that the Winchester House with about the Winchester rifle, I guess? Or
Yeah. Apparently she didn't stop. It kept being built right up until her death.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hi, Bill.
Hello.
Thanks for dropping by. Look up the real case of the Winchester House, that business about the rifle shot ghost. The lady who built the house is really convinced that oh, okay. So I guess it is based on, but it just, I knew nothing about it, and it just sounded silly. But it could be well done, but I won't be watching it now because I no longer have. So when were you in California? But yeah, I don't know if there's really anything else to watch now. Like there's. Oh, I did start watching before it went off. I think I saw the first episode, maybe two. It's a sort of a spin-off series of The Boys.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, Gen V. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I wasn't very impressed with it. That's for sure. Okay.
It might be because I remember seeing the TV. I don't know if that was based on the book, but I know there was a TV show of Stephen King, King Red Rose, and from what I remember about the story of Winchester, the Winchester House, that might well be based on it. Red Rose must be based on it or inspired in some way by it. Sean's.
I've not heard. I don't know all. Stephen King has so many bloody books. There's only a few that I've actually heard of.
I've never read. I've tried reading his novels, but I've never been able to get into them. But it's a couple of short stories I thought are good. His.
I've read a couple, and I wasn't that impressed by them. But the only one that's on the top of my list to really read is the vampire one of his early ones, and it's blanking.
Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot, yes. Oh yeah. It says Oh, what did you say? Oh, got bone stuck in throat. And I'm sure, Spaminator, you must have seen Young Frankenstein, because that's just, you have to know all the old Universal ones to catch everything in there. Well, I know you grew up in Bermuda, but that's Bermuda. That's not California or Canada.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, so but Stephen King wrote it? Did he write just original? He created original series. Okay.
I remember it because it had his name on the opening titles. So I think it's with Storm of the Century, which was a TV show, which I think he turned into a book. But that's actually quite good to watch. It's only about an hour long. It's very effective.
Bill's books asked, should I read Stephen King for Garbogust? Should I never read him? Well, I think the idea of Garbogust is to, I guess he would fit under the idea of it, but there might be a little more to it. It's the kind of thing where if I understand it correctly, Garbogust, the criteria is something that is written sensationally or to cash in on stuff, like TV adaptation shows. Like there's a whole bunch of Space 1999 books, but some of those could be actually well written. I don't know. I've never read any of them, but like Alan Dean Foster's apparently Alien is really, really good, as a book adaptation of a film.
Mm.
So, but that would I think would fall under Garbogust, but it becomes better.
Yeah. Also,
yeah. You really need to see all the other ones to get all the jokes, But Bela, I think that's one of his best roles. Is as Igor. I really think it is, because he doesn't seem to be hamming it up as much, or just going through the lines, and in some ways he's actually acting better than he did as Dracula, I think, as Igor. And that's, I know a lot of people would say no, but I would say he is. Yeah, they are interesting.
Yeah, it's. I remember when I was at secondary school, I used to read. I'm a big fan of Doctor Who, so I read a lot of the novelizations from the '60s, and some of the episodes. Like there's one particular story called Invasion from Patrick Troughton's era, and I think only 3 of the 5 episodes are left. The other one's been wiped. So I read a novelization of it, and that's really good. And then subsequently they did because though they'd lost the episodes, they got the audio from them. And so they went to an animated company and they animated the missing episodes as black and white ones. And definitely the novelization has got more in it than the actual story itself that was broadcast.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Like, I just don't have the time, but I would love to read all the old Doctor Who adaptations. The ones that I really want to read is, I always get the name slightly wrong, but it's a spin-off character, which I don't know why they've never made a series of her. It's Bernice Summerfield, I think it is. She's an archaeologist. The closest that they come, I think, is making a River Song, an archaeologist, sort of.
Wasn't Bernice Summerfield in the Big Finish? Some of the Big Finish stuff.
Yeah. Because I really like the Big Finish. I like all their adaptations. Because they know how to do audio drama really well, or generally do. But yeah, there's several books that have been that have been written. I don't know if they're adaptations of the radio or audio dramas or not for Bernice Summerfield, but they're hard to get. They're really expensive.
Yeah.
Like rough, worn out paperbacks are just, I thought, I'd be able to pick these up for a couple pounds each. No.
Oh yeah, I mean the old Target novelizations from the 60s and 70s, which are hardbacks. They're really expensive. The only place I've been able to find them, not to have to pay anything, is get to the local library where they still got them. They go for quite a bit now.
I've got copies, I think, of most of the Bernice Summerfield as ebooks, but it's just with my issue with reading ebooks is problematic. But because there is stuff that I want to read, so when I do use it, I have to prioritize because I can't read too much per day. So, but if I didn't have anything else to read, then I could read through those eventually. But they're always way down on the bottom of the list because there's so much other stuff that I want to look at that I can't get in book form.
Yeah.
So, Spaminator saying he really thought Bela took the role seriously. I believe, yeah, he is amazing in that. Apparently, the character was so well received, they brought him back in the next movie, even after being shot. Yeah. Spaminator said he just grew out of Stephen King. Yeah, I haven't been a big fan. I would like to, if I had the time, I definitely want to do Salem's Lot. But what's the big series? What, The Tower or whatever?
Yeah, the Doctor.
Yeah, that, just because of the size of it, I'm interested in it to see, can he sustain that? And then The Stand, I think, is another one that I wouldn't mind trying because of the size too.
Yeah.
That's the only ones that I know of off the top of my head. But it's a big commitment for something like Dark Tower.
Yeah. I mean, I've never read The Stand, but I did watch the 90s TV adaptation, which was really good.
Okay, yeah, no, I haven't seen that. And Spaminator says Salem's Lot is worth reading, though. Yeah, I do. I remember liking the TV show when it was on, the miniseries. I haven't seen it since it aired. And the only reason why I watched it was because I was a Starsky and Hutch fan. And I'm sure a lot of people will be scratching their head going, what's Starsky and Hutch got to do with Stephen King? And also, what's his name?
James Mason.
Yeah, James Mason. Like those were two, and I'm going, oh, what's this? But yeah, well, the other thing that I've read from it that I do know, I've read The Talisman.
Mm.
And I enjoy because that's with Peter Straub, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed that. I don't remember much about it, but I remember enjoying the experience.
Yeah.
I might have read Pet Sematary. I'm sure I've read Christine. What are some of the others around that time? There's Pet Sematary.
There's, I've forgotten the name of the hotel. The one about the hotel, the family in the hotel.
Okay, no, I haven't read that one. I know what you're talking about.
Kubrick did the film, which King didn't like very much. I've forgotten the name of it now. And he did the one about the truck, the big juggernaut truck.
Wasn't that a short story though?
Oh, it might have been, because I know it was turned into a film as well.
Yeah, with I know the actor's name, but I'm trying to think of the TV series McLeod, I think it was Dennis Weaver.
Oh yeah, Jenny's just got it. The Shining, and
The Shining, yeah. Yeah, and everybody goes with that thing where Jack Nicholson is using the axe through the door and stuff. And I so many times I've seen over the years people saying how original that is, and I'm going, you definitely have not seen Phantom Carriage, 1919, or I think it is. You know, that is a scene right out of that. They lifted it directly out of a silent film, a fabulous film as well. Oh, I didn't actually. Sorry, I didn't read the rest of this. Hoping to read Pet Sematary next week. Haven't read a King book since It. See, I haven't read It. I know I've read at least two, and it must be Pet Sematary, and I know Christine for sure. I just see they weren't memorable. They weren't memorable at all. It's just it was at a time where I was going through a phase where I watched things like Amityville Horror and read the book and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. This is sort of late 70s, early 80s, you know, and I read quite a bit of this stuff because I had them in book club editions. But they never made an impression on me, and I don't remember them. The only one that I do remember that I liked, and it might have been a bit later, was The Keep. Oh, I can't remember the guy's name now, but I liked that.
It's F. Paul something or other.
Yes. Somebody I'm sure will know. But that one I did enjoy. Spaminer says he tried the Dark Tower series, didn't even finish the first book. Pretty sure I threw it across the room. Okay, well, that's not a good recommendation then. I have The Gunslinger, which I found at a little free live. Is that part of the Dark Tower series?
I don't know.
Because I thought in Gunslinger there's a tower, but I don't know. Alan is saying hi, Alan. You're currently reading. That's the
Kennedy.
The Kennedy set. See, I definitely not interested in that at all. 1408.
Oh, that's a novella by Stephen King. I've read that one. It's really good. And I watched there's a film version with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. It's good. A skeptical one. Is a writer who goes around to supposedly haunted places, writing books about them. And that number is the room number of a particularly haunted room in a New York hotel, and he gets to stay there the night.
It sounds a bit M.R. James-ish.
So yeah, I think you can see the influence of M.R. James there, except it's a lot less optimistic at the end than you would necessarily with M.R. James.
The gunslinger character loses a hand, if I'm remembering correctly, and I think he gives away one of his two guns because he only has one hand now. I just remember thinking that was so dumb. The Keep, F. Paul Wilson, yeah. That's it. I remember. And then I saw the film, I think, that it was out around the same time, or at least when I read the book. And the film was interesting, but I didn't really care for the film as much.
Actually, I saw the film before I read the book. I enjoyed the film. It's got Ian McKellen in, I think, and Gabriel Byrne as well.
Yeah, like I just remember it as a good story, and I remember, and I think it's got like H.P. Lovecraft sort of undertones, I think, with it, if I remember right. And it's just unlike Michael K. Vaughan and I have not read everything of H.P. Lovecraft, and again, around that time, I think it was probably around then, and it never really made a huge impression on me. Like, it wasn't a thing where I read it and go, oh, I have to read everything by this person. And then for whatever reason, I never went back to it. Literally, it's been 30 years plus since I've looked at H.P. Lovecraft, and I do want to, but I just haven't. And then then there are other authors, as well. I think with everybody, that they read one thing and they want to read everything by them. Mm. I enjoyed The Keep, but I've never read anything else by F. Paul Wilson. I'm assuming he wrote other things. I've never looked, never thought of it. I just remember the book, and that's it.
I think The Keep is part of the series. I think it was possibly the first book in the series. So,
Gunslinger is the first one, and so it is part of the Tower series. That I'm assuming, yeah. Gunslinger is the first one. Well, what's this? The Keep is also the first book in a series. Oh, okay. Well, that makes me interested to look at it again, because I'm curious. I'd be willing to reread it. That's for sure. I'll have to look that up. Mm. Yeah, like I say, I never followed it up, because it's like horror was never a huge. Even though I like horror, I like watching horror films. And then at the same time, it's like I've been tagged in to do the Edgar Allan Poe tag.
Yeah.
And the first story, I can't remember what the first story was that I read of his, but I was quite young, and I loved Edgar Allan Poe. But it's one of the things with me is there was two authors that I never wanted to finish I didn't want to rush in and read everything. I've destroyed the one, but it was Sherlock Holmes stories and Edgar Allan Poe. So I'm still rationing Edgar Allan Poe, and I've not read everything, and I'm purposely rationing them. And I was doing that with Sherlock Holmes because I loved them so much. And I wanted something fresh. I wanted to come to them fresh, and then reread the ones that I read. But when I first moved to Bedford after being homeless, I got a job, but I wasn't buying any books. Yeah. I went to the library, and after like 150 searches on the thing, they didn't have anything on the shelf that I wanted to read. Yeah. And it was all I had to pay to get in through interlibrary loan. But the one librarian took pity on me and ordered the complete short stories and the complete novels. There were 2 volumes of Sherlock Holmes. So in a week or two, I read them, which then I went, bugger. So yeah. Yeah, horror. And the other thing, everybody knows, like I'm a big science fiction sort of fan, but fantasy, I don't know, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't quite work for me that much. I've read some fantasy, but not as much as other people, or that a lot of people that, or you would think that, if you like one, you like the other. That was the thing that pulled me away from King. Finding out there were so many better horror writers and just don't get the recognition because of the huge shadow the man casts. Yeah, but I guess he has its place, I suppose, because you hear people talking about how horror was before him and after, and I guess the argument is, did he make it better or did he make it worse? By popularizing it more, it's hard to say. Bill's books. I haven't read all of Sherlock Holmes or Edgar Allan Poe yet, just because I haven't got around to too many books to read. Yeah, but they are sort of 2 very, very favorites of mine. James Herbert is my favorite horror writer. Still looking for an amazing current writer. I know the name, but I'm sure I've not read anything by James Herbert. Did he do The Fog?
I have. Yes, and he did the Rats as well.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah.
And I've read a couple of his. I really like them. They're really effective.
So is he sort of, what do they call it? Like, and I was going to say environmental horror writer, but meaning that it's more literally more the environment that that his boogeymen are, or not. I don't know.
Some of them are the environmental stuff, but others are traditional sort of supernatural horror. Like there's one called Sepulchre, which was the first one I read, which is actually about an ex-British soldier being hired as a security guard for this very odd businessman. It turns out that he's involved in a Sumerian religion or something along that lines.
Yeah.
And then there's another one called I think it's The Shrine, which is about a girl who's apparently carrying out miracles near a Catholic church, but it turns out to be.
I think you froze, Aaron. If I'm still moving, then yeah, okay, there you go. Oh, you're gone again.
With the virus on, it starts wiping out the population. So, a mixture of all sorts with Herbert.
Okay, yeah, you froze up there to me for quite a bit there, so I'm not sure if it froze up for everybody.
Where did I cut out? Or could you hear me? Or
yeah, I can now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, he does.
Yeah, Herbert. The spam Herbert knows how to get under your skin without overdoing it or making it silly, top notch. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check him out because I am open, because I always said I never really cared for horror writing before, and then somebody actually pointed something out to me, and I went like this. I love ghost stories, but I never, for some reason, thought of them as horror. And it's such a stupid thing, but that's true. And it's like somebody said it to me, and I'm going, yeah, it is. Yeah, you just a dream catcher. Yeah, I don't know that one. So the magic theme. Okay, well, I think that's that. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Summer, even for a few minutes. He does body horror, creatures, and super. What's body horror?
Like you remember? Have you seen the film The Fly?
Yeah.
That's body horror.
Oh, okay. Oh, Spaminators causing trouble again. Got frozen by the ghosts. Yeah.
I wish it was something that exciting.
I just had something I was going to say more about horror, but I've lost it now. I've lost it. But yeah, I do want to read a few more things, and by sounds, and is it Clive? The Books of Blood is like, I always get whoever writes that wrong. You froze again there, so I'm not sure if you said.
You're frozen, Sean.
Still, are you there, Aaron, or are you froze again?
Can you hear me, Sean?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, you were freezing there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Clive Barker who did the Books of
Right.
Book of Blood.
Yeah,
Books of Blood.
yeah, that's something else that people have mentioned to me to read, and I like the sort of older stuff. That's the one thing, and it was like I wish I had all the books because there was that occult detective they did. Well, I guess in September that would have been fun to do.
Yeah.
The Hellraiser books, yeah. I think I tried watching one of the films, but for some reason it just didn't do anything for me. Hellraiser.
Yeah, I mean the Hellraiser book is it's more of a novella. It's called a Hellbound Heart. It's quite not. It's about to be about a bit smaller than that, say altogether. So it's all right. I enjoyed it. It's a lot. I think it's a lot more effective than the film, personally.
Okay. But isn't there a whole bunch of sequels to the film?
The film's got I think the film's. I don't know how many sequels there are. There was one that came out about a year ago, which is a reboot. It's a sequel to the original that ignores everything else that came before. So.
Spavinator says the Books of Blood stories are a bit hit and miss. One of the stories called Pig Blood Blues, my favorite one in the collection. So I assume that they're not novels; they are short stories then.
Yeah,
or novellas.
One of the short stories in there is I've forgotten it now. The name escapes me. It's the film from the early 90s about Tony Todd played the monster. Somebody will say it in the chat, I'm sure, but the hook hand is based. The original story is set in England, in Liverpool, but the film is set in Chicago. The name will come to me eventually, but that's one of the stories that is in the Books of Blood.
The kind of there are horror. Well, I think that most of the time, for me anyway, they're more effective on movies or series when there are a few. Are things that are like the Exorcist type thing where people get possessed and stuff like that. Because I read The Exorcist and I read the sort of his redo one that he added some stuff and changed things through it. So I read them side by side, chapter one, and then reread the chapter in the new version. And I just thought it was lousily written. I thought it was poorly written. The film I like, but I didn't really care for the book so much. And I do love those kind of stories. I'm just trying to think of something else that I read. Yeah, I haven't read too many of those, but everything that I have read, I've enjoyed. If there was an adaptation, a film adaptation, I enjoyed the film more than the books. So that's a bit strange, probably for a lot of people.
I've just remembered that it's the Candyman, which is the story. The story that was adapted is called the Candyman.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's I've heard of that one, yeah. Yeah, that is where that's the one thing. Like as a kid, I watched, horror films on, the old ones, and they never scared me. None of this stuff scared me. And then I, grew up watching this stuff. I listened to radio programs, horror stuff, and read stuff, and they never scared me. They, for some reason, and a lot of people say that they do. and they still do. Like Spaminator and Jenny saying they creep them out, and it doesn't to me. Like I'll say something maybe that's a bit creepy, but I don't mean it in a scary sense. I mean usually in a weird sense. That's creepy. It's like the only thing that did. Like I've mentioned it many times. There was the one scene, and I keep forgetting the name of it. That there was this guy that was investigating stuff, and it's the scene where the woman is pulling off the sheets of the bed, and she throws the sheet, and it goes over top of the shape of a boy.
Yeah,
a little boy.
Others. Is that it? Or
Sorry.
Is it the others? The name?
No. This is a Victorian one. This guy. It's about a woman who is starting to see, I think, her dead child. I think, and this guy is investigating, and he apparently did do a lot of investigating of stuff.
Oh, is it Harry Price? The investigator.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Another story. I don't know. I can't remember the name of the film, but I know what you're on about.
Yeah. It's just there's a scene in there that actually it's the only time anything I like. If you want to call it that, I went whoa. That's the only time like there. That did it in that way rather than whoa. I wasn't expecting that, but this was like a scary whoa. And it's the first thing that I think I've ever seen that did that because I was not expecting that at all.
I remember when the first time I ever got introduced to Dracula was with a audio book, and it was an audio book with sound effects added. And this would have been when I was about 10. I was listening to it at night, and it's a scene where Dracula comes through the window to get to Mina Harker. That's it, if you know, or he leaves. Yeah. And it generally shocked me because as he hits the window, they did the sound effects. It really scared me.
Yeah, that's where I think radio stuff can be very effective, or audio drama, because it is all sound. And a lot of times, when as a kid, I used to listen to this in the dark. So and then your imagination goes. And Jenny's saying it needs to keep the light on, or maybe keep the light on. Recently watched Exorcist 3 with Josie. I've seen it, but I don't remember much of it. It didn't impress me, I don't think. The one I want to see, which I haven't seen, is the one that's the prequel about the archaeologist in Iraq. That one I've never. I think that's what the whole episode is about, but I've never seen that one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I know they made a lot.
Yeah, they sort of decline in quality after Hellraiser 2. I mean, the most recent one, which was made by Clive Barker himself, wasn't that good, to be honest.
Golemon says that his favorite Exorcist book is Ray Russell's The Case Against It. I've got that, and I've wanted to read because I buddy read with two others The Exorcist, and we keep saying that we're going to read that one, and it just never has happened yet. Because I do, and it's very short. It's maybe not even 175 pages, I don't think. But I do want to read that one. The HBO Tales from the Crypt series was the first horror media to actually scare me. Of course, I was like 5 years old. My mom thought my reaction was so funny, she almost peed herself. That might explain a lot, Spaminator. But I remember that series. I remember enjoying it with the little zombie guy.
The Spaminator's story.
And Spaminator says this Case Against Satan was good. Okay, yeah, the prequels. So there's more than one prequel?
Yeah, I think there's one set in Africa as well, I think.
Oh, I'm not aware of that. I just know the one because the priest. See, this is an interesting. The priest in there is sort of, isn't he based on Teilhard de Chardin? I think, or there's writings from him in there.
I don't know. I've got to say, I don't know The Exorcist that well.
But the reason why I say that is there's the crossover. Teilhard de Chardin is throughout this,
right.
or his ideas. So that's kind of an interesting little crossover, the high period thing. So yeah, it would have been interesting to I will do want to watch at least the archaeologist one about I just can't see. That's what I mean. It's like there's some books that I remember more of, but even though I sort of enjoyed to a certain extent Exorcist while I was reading, I can't remember the details. Well, that's happening a lot these days, but it did not make an impression on me like other people. I thought there were bad dialogue, like extremely bad dialogue parts, shoddy writing. Yeah. Good to know that your evil traits are genetic. Yeah, that's the Spaminator. That's the Exorcist, the beginning. There's also Exorcist.
Right.
Yeah, Exorcist Dominion. That doesn't sound familiar. Which I believe is a recut version of the beginning. Oh, okay. Interesting. Because of the crypt. The Crypt Keeper. Yeah, that's what it's called. Puppet in that series. They still have a hard time with puppets and dolls. Yeah, I remember that. When was that? You're dating yourself then, Spaminator, if I can figure out when that show was on. Must have been early 90s. Was it? Or was it 80s?
No, it'd be early 90s, I think.
There was one that actually was pretty. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. That I watched on Prime. It's about a priest who's sort of in bad with, like, he's got a bad reputation in the Catholic Church, but it's a mini series, and he goes to Rome, and like it's all the way up. Like there's demons that are coming and Satan coming through. I can't remember the name of it, but I enjoyed it.
Did that have Martin Shaw in?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
I know what series you're on the way. I can't remember the name, but I do remember watching it when it was first on. It was a BBC thing.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And the other one that we're talking about, which really isn't horror, well, it's not horror at all. But what was the name of it? Like the film where they find a grave that they think could be Jesus. We talked about this.
It's the tomb, isn't it? Or the body?
The body, maybe. Yeah. I'd love to read the book because there was enough depth and layering to the film that makes me think that the book could be really, really good. Yeah. Because they're tying all this stuff in. As long as they don't use it like a sledgehammer, but if they tie all this stuff into what's currently happening, or has been happening, then, subtly, as much as possible, like they did in the movie. Banderas was in it, wasn't it? Yeah. What's his? I can't remember his first. I hate him as an actor, but yeah, no, that was, and I guess you wouldn't call that horror. I don't think, no.
Yeah.
But
more possibly a religious thriller.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, early 90s. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, Spaminator, you've dated yourself now. Kinderman was super annoying in the extra. Who was Kinderman again? I can't remember. Was that the police officer? That was the police officer, wasn't it? I think.
Because I can't remember myself.
Like, yeah, I just can't remember really. Wife has these sweet little personal dolls. I came off work one day.
Gotta say, Spaminator's wife, from everything he said, sounds a bit like in the Pink Panther films, with where Pluto as the karate expert, he keeps jumping out at him.
Oh yeah. Kato, yeah. Also, what's his name on Last of the Summer Wine, where Kato spends his retirement years on the Yorkshire moors.
You know that he was actually born in Lancashire.
Oh no, I didn't know. Yeah.
He was born there. They went back to, I think it was Hong Kong, and then he came back. He was born in the 30s. Went back to Hong Kong in the late 40s, and then came back to Britain in the 50s when he started acting.
Yeah, Kinderman was the police officer. I kind of thought so. Yeah, he. Come on. Yeah, it's a definite worth read because it was influential, but I can understand its popularity and its importance, but I didn't think it was well written. And then what he did was, I don't know when it was, in the 80s or early 90s, not long before he died, he rewrote it to a certain extent. And some of the things are just changing a word here or there, but then putting in a whole scene that I'm going, why did you do that? That actually ruined things. But he thought it made it better. And I've got this, and what I did was I sort of annotated each edition, like I circled the things that were different as much as there's probably lots of things I didn't catch, but it was an interesting way to read a book, where you read one chapter in the original and then you read the rewritten chapter and compare them. I have no problem letting the world know I'm still young and handsome. Well, I don't think we knew that there was a Mrs. Spaminator. So that's breaking news here. Mrs. Spaminator. God, those Pink Panthers movies could never get made. Oh no way. Well, here's things that, like, there's so many scenes that I remember, and the ones I think it's from it is Pink Panther. He's at a hotel, and there's a dog there. He goes, "Oh, does your dog bite?" and then it's, "No, my dog doesn't bite." It's so stupid. It's puerile, but it is actually funny.
Well, the best one is that you've seen the takeouts from those films. The
outtakes mean there.
Oh yeah, sorry. Where they're in the lift and he keeps farting.
No, I don't think I've seen that.
And they all the actors just fall about laughing. Well,
you've got a keeper there, then, for sure. For both of you. If the Spaminator can find, sorry, I'm making it sound really bad. No, just talking about things that wouldn't be made today. There's just so many things. Like, I came across a video of a joke of Dave Allen. I don't know if I want to say it because people. Well, I'll say it because I'm fine. This is my channel, so it's like Dave Allen. His shtick is he sits there in the chair. He's only got a few fingers fully, and he's got 3 fingers of whiskey there as well, and he's smoking all the time. So he's telling the story. He says a friend comes to him and says he's emigrating out of, he doesn't want to live here anymore. Why? Well, 500 years ago, when you were a homosexual, you would have been killed, and then 100 years ago, you would have been flogged and stuff like this. And then, 60 years ago, you would have been, put in jail.
Yeah.
And just recently, it's okay. And what do you mean? Well, why are you moving? And it's like, well, I'm moving before it's compulsory. That's a joke that you would never hear today. But does anybody think that is, it is sort of a bad taste, but it's not bad in the other sense, I don't think. She's probably getting advice from your mom.
Oh, I just got a text message from it. Right.
A trio of spaminators. That is crazy. So what would a trio of spaminators be called? Like a group of spaminators? We got to get a name now for a group of spaminators.
A Spamalot. Well, well, you can say at least they're keeping him on his toes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I take it, Spaminator, you're not at work. You're not hiding out from your work colleagues in the bog, in the toilet.
I better just say this because I had a text message telling me to. Hello, Laura. That's my other sister who's watching.
Okay. Well, hello, Laura. Whoever Laura is. But yeah, there's so many things that just wouldn't be made today. But it's funny. Like I've been sort of falling asleep, and I've been scrolling through things like the YouTube Shorts or something like that, and all this stuff is just funny. Where somebody and they're making it sound like this is so important and it's proof of something. So they get an answer to question A, which is definitive. That is the answer. That's the conclusion. Fine. But they use that for another situation that is related to it and thinking that then debunks that.
Yeah. And
it's like, no. And the one that was one of the best, if I could articulate it correctly, I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but the guy was asking the woman who is saying she's a feminazi or whatever, the stupid term. But anyway, he's saying, well, what in the UK, what laws that men have that women don't? Mm. So she has to say that everybody has, men and women have the same laws, like they're equal in that way. Yeah. So therefore, his conclusion is then there is no equality at all between men and women.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not what that means. It means that, the laws, there's no law. There's nothing that a man can or cannot do that a woman can or cannot do legally, more or less. That doesn't mean that somebody can have prejudice against them, regardless of they're a woman or a man. Those are two different things. But I see this stuff all the time, and it seems I guess it must be part of the social media thing that it's too simplistic. They make it so simplistic that people can't think beyond anything. And it's the same thing as the one thing that I was really surprised at. I found out that Kevin Spacey there was all that controversy with the Me thing, or Me Too. But he's gone through 2 court cases and he's been exonerated.
Yeah.
And he's done a film, and I think he's just done a voiceover, but they refused to screen it at the Prince Charles, I think it's called, cinema or theater in London, because of the pedophile allegations, which have been proven by law, to be false in 2 courts.
Yeah.
But they're saying, oh, well, you know how people get off and because they're rich and they shouldn't, which can be true.
Yeah.
But then nobody says, okay, well, what about all these people that are in prison that have been accused and convicted of something? So therefore, they are actually, if he's still guilty, even though he's been proven innocent, those people that have been proven guilty are therefore, in the same respect, innocent. So why aren't they getting, and it's like, it's just ridiculous. Spam-A-Lot. That is now canon. Okay, there you go. So a group of spaminators is called Spam-A-Lot. I'm just now coming back from lunch. So now I am hiding in the toilet. The Spam Clan. Oh, that's another good one. Will take over the world. No, yeah, it's just I just can't believe all this. I knew the stuff was out there, but I just can't believe how much. And I don't know if it's a percentage because you can't tell. Like every time you look at something on YouTube or something like that, if you watch the whole thing, it's then gonna flood you with everything that's like that, making you think that that's all there is out there.
Yeah,
it's like when I look at the reels on Instagram, and you got these women not wearing any underwear and wearing a see-through dress.
Yeah.
And you could see certain things flapping around. Let's just put it that way. And I find it kind of hard to, when they're only 30 seconds long, to flip past those. And when I don't flip past them, I'm flooded with these things. Damn. But yeah, it's just, and I'm just like, in some ways I'm shocked that this stuff is actually on there. I'm going, do you really go out wearing that? Oh, hi, Yanni. Hello. Oh, is it Yanni? Yeah, it is. You've got so many, I forget now everybody's names. I mean, their account names and stuff, especially when they have multiple accounts. But yeah, no, it's just it's I don't know. It's like maybe I should start a what does everybody think? Start an OnlyFans page to make more money? I could show my gouty feet when I get gout, and I could show my cellulitis leg. That could go. The scary thing is that could go over too well.
Yeah, there are some weirdos online.
Feet Finder. Okay, yeah, I think you've mentioned this before, Jenny. So you seem to have this in sort of in current memory and stuff. So I won't say anything more. Yeah, I bet there's things like nose finder, finger finders, toe finder, whatever. There's probably all sorts of things like that. If I could take home $10,000 a month just by showing my feet on camera, who am I to say no to it?
Yeah, give the people what they want.
Yeah, weird is always. Yeah, that's true. Weird is funny most of the time. Like that's so yeah. Maybe it's worth giving a try. So when I get set up in the new place, I'll make a little space for a studio and for my foot shows, and I can come on live YouTube with premium payments. God. Well, there was like Mark sent me a link to some young guy who's a construction worker. He's in his 20s. He's tubby, you know. Not women would not look at him and say that he's good looking or anything. This guy has an OnlyFans page, and he's making a lot of money, and he's thinking of quitting his job as a construction worker because he's making enough to live on. And it's like it's bloody scary. Well, it's not scary because there's always somebody for something, but yeah. So what does everybody think? An OnlyFans page. I actually did spend a little time trying to find out because I know like what everybody thinks of OnlyFans is the porn kind of stuff. That's a fraction of the accounts that are on there. Like there's people on there doing music and all sorts of stuff and all sorts of artistic things as well. So I've been trying to find out what people are doing in book because there's supposed to be book related stuff on there too. But you can't go on the site and put in books and get a list of people. There's nothing like that. You need to know get a link to something. Like it's ridiculous,
You throw through that.
Sorry?
You froze.
Okay. Well, what I was saying was that I've spent some time on OnlyFans to see because I know that the usual thing that people think about is a small percentage. And I know people do other things like music, artistic things, like there's people that I know that I've heard of that have big accounts that will sit there and paint.
Yeah.
They're not nude or anything like that, but people pay to watch them paint, in videos or live. But how do you find this stuff? Because there's people doing stuff with books on there as well. But there's no search engine, So if anybody's watching and they want to find a certain fetish, you won't be able to. But yeah, it's like I wish there was something you just put in books, and then see what people have tagged as books and see what they're doing. Like, what are people paying for? Like, are they paying for people to recite poetry, or sit there and write? Like on BookTube here on YouTube, they have these reading sprints, which just boggle my mind. That people are sitting there and doing a live thing, and they're sitting there for hours, and not saying anything, not doing anything. I just find that bizarre, and they have huge viewings as well, like view numbers.
Yeah.
And I just find that bizarre, but that's why I want to find out if there's things on other places, because it's always nice to supplement my income. Like I don't think, there's only so far that I'm going to be able to go with certain things. So just diversify. So yeah, maybe Feed It will be on what is it? Foot Finder. So I assume footfinder.com. So yeah. So maybe there's a place there for me. But anyway, we've been on for an hour and 45 minutes, and my voice is, I think, starting to go. What's Jenny saying there? At least TikTok has searches. I enjoy reading sprints here. Why? Like that's what I want to know. Like I don't understand it. What is about it, Jenny, that you like about the reading sprints? Because I don't understand it. So I want to know, because if it works, I'll sit here. Chances are you'll probably see me dozing off and I'll probably start snoring or something like that. But I'm willing to try it. Yeah, there was something else I was going to say, but COVID brain. But yeah, and I'm surprised that I haven't lost a whole bunch of viewers once I started talking about OnlyFans. We still got pretty well 11. We had 11 or 13 earlier. But was there anything else? What are you up to there now, Aaron? Just still some reading, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I can show you something I bought.
Yeah.
It's not books, but it's something interesting. You'll probably like.
I'll just look at Jenny's comment here. Usually 20 minutes reading, then chatting, and repeat gives you someone to encourage your reading if you're struggling. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's kind of fun. Maybe it's worth trying. I don't know. Would anybody watch me sitting here read?
It's okay.
And I don't want any answers to say in my underwear or without my shirt on. Oh, you're frozen there, Aaron. I don't know. Is anybody else? Are we all frozen, or? You never know when one person freezes. Do we both? Oh, it's him that's frozen. Okay, he should come back. Golem Madib says, "I think that people would like what reading sprints is that it's a group reading activity." So, do you mean that it's more than one person doing the live that's doing the reading sprint, or it's the collective thing of the people that are watching as well? So yeah, so he's frozen. I'm fine. I'm always fine. It is also interesting to see how just different everybody's book choices are. Okay, he's gone, so maybe he'll come back. Yeah, well, that's the one thing, and that's the one thing with BookTube that I find interesting. The collective thing. Golem Deep says. So I guess everyone. Jenny, going back to everyone's choice are, because regardless, most people, unless they're in a real sort of bigger reading community in their real life. Aaron seems to be back. Let's see if I can get him back in.
Yeah, I think that was at my end. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but the picture's scrolling to come through. There you are. You're back now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll just complete sort of the thought that I was having from Jenny was saying that it's like how different everybody's book choices are. I don't think I'm unique in the fact of in real life, any time that I grew up, people don't have that many people around them in real life that are readers. that they can discuss books with. And when they do make some connections, are you frozen again? Yeah, I think he's frozen again. When people do make connections, there's only a few people, and usually they're of like mind, so they like the same book, and you'll discuss that book, even if you dislike it. But it's like usually people see the same thing. But ever since I've been on BookTube, that has obviously expanded my like pool of people that are reading books and reading the same books. And it's amazing to me how, hey, he's gone again. It's amazing to me how different people see some books. I mean, absolutely different. Not just a little different, like you don't like this or that, but things like what I think is the strength of the book that other people see it as a fault. And but you don't get that in real life. So, and maybe that the reading sprints could be doing that. If I'm assuming that you, after the 20 minutes that Jenny you were talking about, you then go and talk about what you read. Let's see. Aaron is coming back, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm back.
Jenny's saying everyone reads at the same time, then chats for a bit, then back to reading it. So I'm assuming you're reading the same book then. I'm assuming, because I haven't really watched them fully. I'll get back to you in a minute, Aaron. I just want to catch up with the comments here. Golem Deep says he's tried reading sprints, but I find that I'm not concentrating as much on my book and when I read alone. I think we just get bored the hell out of him about what? I think we just bored. Oh, that's why. Yeah, Aaron, you got bored about reading sprints. Are you back again, or are you frozen again? I think it's frozen again. In response to the comment above that Book Time with Alice wrote regarding toilet paper with ads on, bog roll is now so expensive in the UK that people are using ads, flyers, and junk mail nowadays. Not surprised. So yeah, I'm not sure. Aaron's, I don't know what's happened. Is he still frozen to every? Well, he's disappeared for me here. Yeah, he's disappeared again. I think he sent me a text message. Let me just see. Yeah, he's going to go check his internet, and we'll try again. I'll just say try again after and see. So yeah, I don't know what. I suppose it would depend on the book. If I did try something like that, what would Jenny and because you two have been talking to me about it. If you can still see me and I'm still not frozen, what kind of thing? What would you suggest if I did try something like that? What would be like? I'm assuming it's the same book that everybody reads. What would you suggest to give it a try and see if it happened? If I mean, not happen, but if it'll work. See, I'm getting a little tired too, so my brain is failing. My tongue. Okay, yeah. So Yandy says I see me, so that's good. During sprints, most people aren't reading. Oh, they're not reading the same books. Okay. Okay. That makes it a little different then, because I can sort of see how reading the same book can work. Because if you read the same book and you got shortish chapters, or you decide to read 10 pages or 20 pages and then talk about what you've just read, that could be interesting. And then if you got people as well. Or, yeah, Golem Deep says reading different books. But then what's the community? I guess the community thing is you're all doing it at the same time. But wouldn't if you had a book that had, say, 15-page chapters, and you just read, excuse me, read those and then stop and talk, would that work? Excuse me. Because that could be interesting. You could actually do a whole book like that, I suppose, or you do it for an hour or two or a couple hours, the reading, and then you come back the next day or a couple days later, and you've read. You all agree to read a chunk and then discuss that, and then you go back reading a little bit. They just they compare. Is that all it is? Oh, okay. I got another text from Aaron here. I restarted his router, log in. Okay. He's going to try to log back in shortly once that's done. Okay. Well, there's the two possibilities then of reading the same book or a different one. It's probably due to different reading speeds. The people don't all read the same book. Most of the time, it's just reading with others and a good way to get recommendations. Okay. I don't know. I might try that. Like, I don't think I'm going to try it now, but I might try it after I move and get a little more settled, just to see how it works. I think I would read slower on camera for some reason. I almost feel self-conscious. But yeah. So I'm assuming then both of you have participated in reading sprints. And how long do they usually go on? Because I have seen some that, like, in my feed sometimes, and I've looked, and they've been going for 4 hours. That's a long live stream. Wow, this is getting long. It's getting up to 2 hours as well. And my internet's slow here, so if anybody has left a message, then it takes a while for it to come up. Sorry, I'm just checking something saying that there's spam that's been detected on my messages. Well, it is spam. Usually 10. Is that usually 10 or 20 minutes reading and then discussing, or that's the whole live? That's the whole reading sprint in total. I'm assuming that's just you spend 10 or 20 minutes reading, and then talk about maybe what you read. So is it okay? I do apologize because I've never looked at these things, so I'm sort of considering something like this now. Now, is it always the person who's doing it live? do they always have other people on, or do they do it by themselves? And those people, they assume, I guess, can be reading the same book or reading a different book. Because it's something that I haven't tried and I just didn't understand. So, Maldives, I find myself looking at the clock when I'm trying to read. They read and then talk out. Oh, okay, they talk after 10 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So I guess if everybody is reading different ones, so they do. Yeah, there are ones that do it by themselves. Okay. 6 hours, but most are only a couple of hours long. Usually it's 15, 20-minute reading, 5 to 10 chat, and repeat for a few cycles. Okay, well, something I'll consider. I think if if I can get 2 people to watch, maybe. Okay, Aaron seems to be coming back, and we'll see how that works for a little while.
Yeah.
You back here?
Yeah,
I'm still waiting to see you. I can hear you. There you are.
Yeah, my internet decided to die. So
yeah, mine does that here. In the new place, I'm getting the fastest internet speed that Virgin has.
yeah.
And it's not that much more than a speed that is, I think, 20%. It's like it's 30 pounds a month, which to me is a lot.
Yeah.
But the next one down is 26 pounds. And that's a fraction of the speed.
Yeah.
So I figure an extra 4 or less than 4 pounds actually, because it's closer to 27. So 3 pounds 50, say, extra for 4 or 5 times the speed.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. And we'll see what happens. And even just, I don't know if you saw any of that, but just talking about the reading sprints and stuff. And Bill's book says, often I only read 2 pages before taking a break. Some days when my brain is working, I can get 10 to 20 pages read before taking a break. Yeah, the way I am now, like my COVID symptoms are sort of in higher gear, that if I was reading, like I've been on here now 2 hours, if I was reading, I probably would have been only to read 30 minutes and then I would have had to stop. So that's 20 pages. Depends on the book I'm reading, maybe 20, 25, 30 pages. And then I get really tired and I'm dozing off and I don't know what I'm reading. Talking or doing something physically keeps me a little more awake, but it builds up. Well, as you know, with you were here, like if I stay awake too long because I'm physically doing something, and then I just crash. I just have to crash. These days, my reading is at a coffee shop before work. Okay.
Actually, I've got a couple of things to show you, which
they're
not books, but the things I bought, because I bought years ago the box set of the Sweeney.
Yeah.
And so I found this, which is this was
Regan, yeah.
This was the I can't remember how long it is, about an hour and a half. It was the pilot, and then they made the Sweeney from that, and then also found these, which I haven't seen Regan, but I have seen these before, which are the Sweeney films. If you ever saw them.
No, I've not seen the films. I've seen some of the series, but not all of it.
The films are good. They're entertaining. The second one's really good because it's where the first one is just has one storyline, but the second one has a main storyline, and there's various other things that go on around it. Like there's one case where one of the side plots is where there's a bomb threat called at the hotel, and everybody clears out, but all the police turn up, and so the police, whilst they're waiting for the bomb squad to go up, start clearing out, drinking everything at the bar. And then when they finally work out the bloke who's doing it, he's not actually a terrorist. He just found the bomb. He's from Beirut. He found the bomb there, brought it to London to dismantle it.
Yeah, you can start, it sounds like a 1970s plot. Did you buy them new, or did you find them in a charity shop?
No, I bought them off eBay. They were
You did. Okay.
£2 or £3 each.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. Gotta say the box set of the whole series that cost me something like £30 back in 2019.
Yeah, I had the Sweeney box set. I think I'm pretty sure I had a bunch of those, but then I never got around to watching it all, and I had to sell. They did sell when I had to sell stuff. There's currently a few things. There's 2 things out now that I want, and for some reason, Eureka Video, with their Masters of Cinema series, they've gone up in price on some of the stuff. Currently out is, which is the normal price, is the Buster Keaton 3 Ages that I want to get. On the 31st, I think it is, Pandora's Box is being released.
Mm.
And that is a little more pricey. And Amazon is actually charging more than the Eureka website.
Yeah.
Which never was before.
Mm.
And currently out now as well is their a new version of Touch of Evil, which I like to get. But that's like 37 or 38 pounds.
Unbelievable.
You know, there's a couple Blu-rays in it and the booklet, but they used to be around 20, 25 for a big box set like that, and the Pandora's Box was the price of the it's only recently that's gone up. It was the price of the Buster Keaton 3 Ages, which is 18, 19 pounds. I can't afford these things, but like those 3 I really want. I really want those because, and they're all limited editions, and that's the one thing that makes me a bit angry is because it's not that they'll disappear. They'll put out a standard edition, but then you're missing the booklet.
Yeah,
you're missing extras on it, and that's what bugs me.
Mm.
And so if you want it, and then there are some of them, they're the bigger. I think they're limited to 3,000. I think the Eureka ones. So basically, most of the stuff, Eureka and Powerhouse Indicator Blu-ray, which are their box sets, are limited to 6,000. Within a year, if it's a good title or half decent title, they're sold out.
Mm.
You know, so. I have written poetry, and I do want to, I do have an idea to write some other stuff, but I've been trying occasionally, but my brain just is not in gear. And no, I won't be doing, I don't think I'd ever do the NaNoWriMo thing. That doesn't work for me because there's other things I want to do. And there's no way I could write that much currently with my health.
Yeah.
What about you, Aaron? Have you?
I'm planning to write something. Yeah, it's right. Trying to describe. It's gonna be written as a popular history from the late 21st century about an apocalypse to take place in the early 21st century.
Okay.
But the book version that you're reading is the reissue on the centenary of the apocalypse. And so you've got the original author and their footnotes, and then you've got a historian giving their footnotes to it. And the historian's pointing out that the original author was paid by a press baron to write it. And the press baron, who's so inspired by Lord Beaverbrook, wanted to give a very particular version of what happened to Britain after the apocalypse up until would have been about the 2070s.
It's an interesting idea. Yeah. So are you gonna do you do anything for the NaNoWriMo or?
No, I might well start writing it in November, but I'll keep going after that. I don't think I'll be able to get this done in 1 month at all.
Yeah, I just I keep getting I get some requests for other poetry as well, and I've only written a few things since I've got since I got COVID, and I haven't been that happy with the stuff. But I get asked by my publisher, a few other places for a few things, and I try occasionally, but I'm not happy with the result. You know, it's not like I was writing, and somebody was saying that I should just go with it and see what comes out. I've tried that, and it's junk. Some people would say what I did write and get published is junk, but that's a different matter. But yeah. So if anybody doesn't know, I do have a book of poetry that's available to buy on Amazon. But I think we'll wrap things up. Was there anything else that you wanted to mention, Aaron?
Can't think of anything now.
But yeah, all I can say is still the appeal for help out with my big move, or even physical help on the day. See the issue, potential issues here is that there's going to be 2 split days that'll be loading up in Bedford and 2 split days of unloading in Carlin Howe. But I think we'll be okay if everything slots into place. And I have to make this decision by the 3rd, so I need to know whether I can do this by the 3rd. So, and as I say, I've got till the 14th here, so so that should work out. Fingers crossed. But yeah, like I know, and I do thank. I just want to say again, thanking everybody who has helped. Thank you, Aaron, and for the future help that you'll be giving, and everybody else who has, either physically or monetarily. So Bill, you had my book on your wish list, but nobody bought it. Yeah.
Just one thing. I noticed his book. Is there a lot of poetry on BookTube? It doesn't mainly seem to be novels as opposed to anything else.
There's quite a few poetry. There's a few people that just do poetry, but the ones that I am aware of are about as consistent of making videos as I am, meaning not. Which I don't know if that means anything, but there's a lot of people that do a bit of poetry and everything else. Like there's Poetry Thursday, like Aaron Facer does a Poetry Thursday, Grix does, and from the PAX Panic PAX Panic or Panic Poetry, I think they call it, for Thursday. Gareth at Book Songs and Magic does something every Thursday. So a lot of people do something every Thursday and read poetry throughout, but they don't concentrate on it for the most part. Thank you, Gola Modib. I'm glad you enjoyed the chat, and like I say, I'll be back with some tags, because there's, what is it now? I've got is it the BookTube tag? I think it is. And then I've got the Victorian literature tag and the Edgar Allan Poe tag. So I might actually do those in opposite order. I might do the Edgar Allan Poe tag, because that's an easier one, and I'm still thinking about the other ones a little bit. So, but yeah. Well, then you need to read my poetry. No, it's just whatever you make out of it. That's the thing. You just need to find something that actually works for you. Because the people see so many different things. There's a poem that I wrote, and from my point of view, I was writing about schizophrenia, because I had a friend at the time that was going through that and being diagnosed at it, but I didn't use the word schizophrenia in it or anything like that. And I posted it online, and a researcher in schizophrenia messaged me, and she thought it was really great. So that made me feel good. So it hit the spot there, because she saw what I was trying to say. And then somebody else later on said they thought it was about Batman. That's what they took away from it. So it's like, well, I guess they really liked it, but they took it away. They thought I was writing about Batman. I don't know how, but I guess can be the good thing about poetry, that everybody sees different things in it, because people are seeing many different things in my poetry. You got to get ready for the gym. So do you do a workout? You work yourself up to go to the gym. A workout before gym. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I guess that'll be it. And I say I'll be back, and hopefully maybe doing a few more lives. And when you're here next week, we can probably do something live if there's enough to talk about. So anyway, thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time. Right next to McDonald's. Okay, let's end the stream, and it'll take a few minutes. I'll never know when it's actually over.